Hello, and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. So tonight's show was Vinyl Theater, and they played at DC9. So they had three openers. They had Sub Radio, The Catching, and then Royal Teeth. So getting there and the concert venue. I don't know if I've ever been here yet, but this concert venue is so small and awesome. It's in a bar. They have a downstairs bar and they have a rooftop bar. And the concert venue is kind of right in the middle, and there is a bar there. But yeah, so they have a very small stage. It's like probably 1 foot up from the crowd. So as a crowd member, you're basically face to face with the singer. So that's a pretty just sweet thing right off the bat. And yeah, so it's a really awesome venue. If you ever get a chance to see a band that you like there, go see them there because it's going to be pretty much as up close and personal as you can get. Anyway, getting there was pretty awesome. So now that I'm back at work, Friday went to a happy hour. So I was already in Silver Spring, so I just kind of hopped right onto Georgia Avenue and then went right down. Wasn't a lot of traffic. I am a little bit sad. Part of my parking that I normally go to, like my go-to parking, the street, or part of the street, is now a bus stop, so I can't park there anymore. But I must have hit it at the right time because there were 3 parking spots available, so I parked on the other side, and it worked out well. But I'm a little bit nervous for future reference because if that's going to be a problem, then that might not be good. But fortunately, it worked out for me tonight, so I'm not complaining. So anyway, let's get to the show. So, the opener was so good. I love them. I actually love them so much that I got both their CD and their EP at a merch table, which I don't usually do. But I couldn't help myself. They were that good. So the band is Sub Radio, and they just got me from the beginning, and I just could not get enough. So the thing that I think I like most about them is they have all these subtle little differences. So they have pauses, they have going from a lower note and then all of a sudden a couple words in a higher note. But they also had dramatic changes, right? So they would play one song and it would kind of sound like 3 separate pieces, which was awesome. And I'd be like, oh wait, we're still on that same song? Oh, that was incredible. This was such a good change. I wasn't expecting that. But not only that, they were so entertaining. There were 6 people on this little tiny stage, and they still were just fantastically entertaining. The one song, they had very quick notes, so every time they played, they would move and then they would freeze in the pause, which was awesome. And the drummer was having the time of his life. And then to top that, didn't think that was going to be toppable because it was pretty cool that they were all just kind of robots, So anyway, to top that, the next song or two later, they were okay, so we have a choreographed song, and if you know the choreograph, please just do it with us. And they ended up doing this hand clapping thing, and it was snap, snap, clap, and then they went like this, and they did their thighs and clapping and snapping. It was incredible to see 6 people on stage doing it. And again, the drummer was just having the time of his life while playing the bass drum and doing all this cool it was just awesome. It was so good. It was so good. Just so good. So anyway, this band is from DC, so it's a hometown show. So they actually played for 40 minutes, which I was really surprised because, again, 4 bands means either it's going to be a late night or they're starting early. And this show did start early. It started a half hour early, and so I knew it was at least going to be a little bit better, but I was actually surprised that they played for 40 minutes. They played almost until 8:10, which, again, for a 4-band concert is surprising. But apparently they must, this venue must appreciate the fact that they were locals, so they, I guess, let them play longer, which was awesome. I loved it because every song they played was just so fantastic and so good. So again, if you ever, just check them out in general, but if you ever get a chance to see them, they were just super entertaining, and I can only imagine what they would be on a bigger stage. If they were headlining or something, it would have been even better. So then, let's move on to The Catching. So they were pretty different, especially compared to those like subtle changes and then like those dramatic song changes that kind of work as a whole. So the Catching was more of just like definitely had a more bass heavy sound, and just more of like kind of traditional rock. Their songs were pretty good. Sometimes, like rarely, when all the instruments were playing, it was a little bit hard to hear the singer, but for the most part it was pretty clear. They did a good job. They tried to get the crowd involved. Some of the songs were like really, really good. Other the songs I like kind of got distracted in my own head. Not that was bad. I kind of enjoyed that moment to just kind of like, you know, think about whatever, and it made me think about cool things. So it was definitely good music to listen to. And then their last song like totally grabbed me. And it was because they had like those subtle changes. They had like the higher notes and they held notes for longer and they repeated certain words. So that like, again, really enhanced my experience with that band at the very end. Like that last song was just so good and I really liked it. So now let's get to Royal Teeth. So I've heard of them before, and I'm pretty sure I've heard of the one song, and I'm pretty sure they played it, and I'm not a huge fan of that song, but them playing it live was okay. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, so Royal Teeth has a female lead singer, and then also has like a co-lead sometimes, the male singer. So the first song was mostly the male singer, and I really liked like the music, and I think I liked the lyrics. They were a little bit hard to understand. So that was a little bit like disappointing that I couldn't understand what he was saying in that first song. The second song was a song that I think I'd heard before, and I just am not a huge fan of it. They played it. It was like it's like a fun song to play at a live show. It's very like energizing and kind of got people into their set. But then after that, like some of the songs were okay, and then other songs were not okay. And they played this cover that I did not know, and I was really like not a fan of that one at all. But then right after that song, they played 4 more songs, and they were so good. Like they said that they were gonna play new songs, so I guess they played 2 new songs, and the first new song was fantastic, like so good to a point where I'm gonna have to look that song up and check it out because I really liked it. The second song was not as good as the first one, but it was still like really, really good, and apparently they just released it today, so that was kind of cool that we got to hear it on the day that it was released. And then after that they played 2 other songs, and I don't know if those were new or if those were older, but the second to last song was probably my favorite. It was just so good. They were so entertaining, and they really like were just amazing. It was really good. And then during the last song, even though I think the second to last song was like just inherently better, like just based off of the sounds and like the lyrics and stuff, it was just better. The last song, what the male lead singer did was he took a tom into the crowd and just started playing drums, which was pretty sweet. That was a cool touch, and I really liked that they did that. So they were pretty good. I was glad that I wasn't disappointed because of a female singer, and there were a couple songs that just the female lead singer sang, and she was it was okay. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but I wasn't like disappointed at all when she was the only one singing, because I could actually hear the lyrics more clearly when she was singing. So maybe that's also like enhanced it a little bit for some reason. I don't know if the male lead singer was like standing too far away from his mic or what, but yeah, overall they were pretty good. And again, I was a little bit surprised because for some reason, you know, I immediately see a female singer and I'm like, oh gosh, this is not going to be good. But they were good. Not as good as Sub Radio by any means, but they were good. And again, the last 4 songs were so good, it made up for the few songs in the middle that were just like, well, like I really didn't enjoy the middle of their set, but the end of their set was fantastic. So yeah, those 4 songs definitely made up, and I was like really into it. So that was awesome that they had a strong ending for me. And then of course we get to Vinyl Theater. So Vinyl Theater is just fantastic. So they came out with this new CD, which I'm so sad that I did not listen to it before tonight. So the lead singer has a red mic, which I know is like random, but it's awesome. And their sound was so good. You could hear every single word, no matter what instruments were being played. He was so crystal clear, and it was just wonderful. So I don't know if it was the mic he used or the sound guys was really good, but it was great. So other than the sound being fantastic, their introduction was pretty cool. It went with the theme of their new album. So that was appreciated that they kind of like took the time to, you know, come up with a cool intro. So that was nice. And again, if you know DC9, you're like, oh gosh, like how do you do an intro in that like tiny little stage with that like there's not even like a secret passage for the bands to go through to like get to the stage. They have to walk through the crowd to get to the stage. So the fact that they tried and like did a good job with it was impressive. So the first song like pulled me in right away again. Like it just was, oh God, they were so entertaining. I mean, they were just super upbeat, and it was, I mean, really phenomenal. I briefly listened to their songs on YouTube this morning at like 6 o'clock, and pretty much almost every song they played from their new album, I felt like I already knew it and was already listening to it for weeks. They were just such good songs, so easy to comprehend and like get into, and the choruses were like not necessarily simple's not the right word. They were just catchy enough that you could like totally get into it. So in the second song, they made the whole crowd like repeat this 2 lines, and it was kind of like very specific lines, and I was like, bro, I think you're losing the crowd here. Like, no one's doing this thing that you're asking them to do. But then people started getting into it, and then all of a sudden he was like, all right, now like get really low. So everyone got really low, and he's like, okay, we're just gonna like repeat it, and I'm gonna build up, and then I'll let you guys know when you can like come up. So that was pretty cool. The whole like crowd was down, like crouched on the floor, and then he just kept singing that line that we were all supposed to be repeating, and then all of a sudden it was just like this huge mass of awesomeness as everyone was like jumping up and jumping around. So that was pretty cool. I was like, this is gonna go south, and it did not go south. It went like far north. It worked out well for them, so I'm glad that was like a good way to get the crowd in. They played their second most popular older song fourth, so that was fun. Like, I knew that song much better, obviously, than I knew the new ones that I haven't listened to yet, so that was cool for me. I was glad that I got to, you know, have that experience kind of earlier on, and I figured that they would save their bigger hit to the end, which they did. But, yeah, so then they played a cover, Sail, by AWOL Nation, so that was pretty sweet. I really loved that song, and I just like love AWOL Nation, except for when they play that Kerfuffle, which was not very good. But but yeah, so that was like awesome. They did a really cool cover. I thought it was really great, and again, I knew that song, so it made it even better for me personally. So yeah, and then towards the end of the show, there was like 1 song, maybe 2 songs of the entire show that I kind of like, again, like got into my own head and was just like thinking, but I'm telling you, every single song was just so good, and I really could not describe just like how much fun it was. Just, yeah, it was just like fun. They just did such a good job, and again, like every song was danceable and like sing along to-able. That's not even a word. But it was great. They did such a good job, and they like kept the crowd totally engaged. And again, I knew 3 songs that they played, so the fact that I was totally into it, and they went for a really long time. Like, the show didn't end until 11:30, so you know how cranky I get when a show ends late. So the fact that I like didn't even care about it speaks volumes. And then finally they ended with their biggest hit, which was just so fun, just off the wall, like jumping up and down, totally rocking out. So yeah, so I had a really great time, and I went to the show with a friend, and it was really nice to like hang out. We went to dinner beforehand, so that was fun, and you know, just nice to experience a show with someone that you know. Oh, that rhymed. Anyway, so I had a really nice time, and I think the show overall was awesome. So score-wise, I'm gonna give this show a 9.5. I've been teetering with a 10, but I don't think it's 10 worthy. It's definitely 9.5 worthy though. The fact that the opening band just totally blew me away. I mean, if Vinyl Theater wasn't so good, I would have said that they stole the show. But Vinyl Theater was just that good. But yeah, so Sub Radio definitely blew me away. I think points were lost with the Catching and with Royal Teeth as well, just because some of their songs weren't super great, and that the middle part of Royal Teeth's set was really just pretty hard to get through. And also it ended late. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic show and I'm not like complaining about that part of it, but you know, man, I like being home. I like going to sleep, especially after a long week of work. But yeah, so I think 9.5, like the few little things that weren't exactly my cup of tea. So I can't really give it a 10 because it wasn't a perfect concert, but it was pretty close. It was pretty near a perfect concert. So definitely go see Sub Radio. The Catching, I'm definitely gonna have to check out their music, and then maybe see if I want to go see them again. Maybe knowing the music will make it better. And then definitely go see Vinyl Theater. Their new album, I mean, I am so excited to download it. It's just phenomenal, and again, I'm so disappointed that I didn't listen to it beforehand because it's so good, and just listening to it live for the first time was really incredible, and that does not happen very often for me. Again, I really like to know songs going into a show, so the fact that I had such a great time not knowing basically any of the songs that they played, that, like I said before, speaks volumes. So yeah, 9.5 I think is what it's gonna stick with. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please feel free to comment, subscribe, like. I'm especially interested if you went to the show. Let me know what you think. Do you think that you do agree? Do you disagree? If you didn't go to the show, I'd love to know what you think. Have you ever seen them before? If not, did I change your opinion and maybe make you want to go see them? I hope so. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.